Testing. Mayor, I did make a note on the
Speakers?
for speakers, yes. So Michael Borsick wants to speak before you guys vote on the Woodlawn traffic. So,
Okay,
yep,
okay.
you want to put that on?
Yeah, all right. So I'll just
Yep.
rem-
Okay.
that's on right there. No, not too bad. Huh? 11, count Michael. He wants to speak on the Woodlawn traffic. As the vice mayor comes back, we'll go back to session here. Okay, I'm going to ask the executive committee returns here. I would like a motion, please, to return to regular session.
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, we return to regular session as a development committee. I just want to note that no business was transacted, no decisions were made. Is there any other questions from committee members? Hearing none, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn the development committee.
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Now it's time for us to move to the council side. Please rise.
Let us pray that we all may work together for the betterment of our city, respecting each other's perspectives and striving for fairness. Let us seek wisdom and understanding as we make decisions that will impact all residents. Let us pray for our city to have compassion and unity for all well-beings. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now call the Wheeling City Council meeting of August 11, 2026 to order, and I would ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Mr. Asara?
Here.
Ms. Kane?
Here.
Mayor Magruder?
Here.
Mr. Palmer?
Here.
Mr. Seidler?
Here.
Mr. Sklavnakis?
Here.
And Mr. Thorngate?
Here.
Quorum is present.
Thank you. We do have the minutes of July 21 before us. Is there a motion to accept those as received?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion, changes? Hearing none, I'd ask all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and those minutes will be accepted as received. Now we're down to the mayor's report. Or no, first, before we do that tonight, we've got a public hearing. So I'd ask for a motion, please, to move to the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And we move into a hearing for 11 Florida Street as a public nuisance. And I would ask for the city's representative, please, to come forward.
Okay, I will remain seated,
Okay,
Mayor, for this presentation. Rose Humway Warmus, City Attorney, City Solicitor for the City of Wheeling. We bring forth at this time a request for council to hear, in accord with our ordinances, a declaration of a public nuisance which exists at 11 Florida Street. The owner has been served, the property has been posted in accord with the ordinance, and I do witness that the owner is here and present in the audience. All of the documents have been sent by hand delivery, certified mail, and those are the documents we will be referencing to this evening. They have also been sent to all of City Council, and everything is part of the public record. I will ask the city clerk to provide slides when the presentation is being provided. These were all part of that public record and what were provided to our owner, Mr. Robert Earl Lawson, LAWSON, at 11 Florida Street. We believe that the information you're going to hear tonight, in particular to the keeping of numerous dogs on the property, which the feces and excrement have been thrown within the yard, piling up on a continuous basis for quite some time, quite to the discontent and the private enjoyment and public enjoyment of the properties within the same area, and the problems that that has created for our public works areas in regard to such keeping of these dogs. And that is a major problem. The city will be asking at the end of this presentation that the dogs be rehomed, that and be kept off the property. The other problems are the state of the property in regard to codes violations. And the third issue is the various police reports differing and continuous in nature on and off in regard to this property. We believe that they do constitute a public nuisance worthy of a declaration. And so therefore, this process is being undertaken. We would call Chet Oldfield from the Building Codes Department to please come up to the podium. Mr. Oldfield, I'm going to just ask you if you are aware that you are going to be testifying today. Are you testifying to the truth of the matter it's asserted herein, and to tell us the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. Oldfield, I would just like you to go over what we have provided as an exhibit number 1, which was a combination of property maintenance citations and complaints. In your own words, will you describe the conditions of this property?
We've received a total of 7 complaints over the last year. So sanitation issues with the property.
Mr. Oldfield, could you speak into your microphone just a little bit more for me? I know you're much taller than that.
We've received 7 complaints over the last year or so in regards to sanitation issues with the property, dog issues there at the property. So, the owner, some of those complaints were duplicates because the dog been cited to city court over these issues. The owner cited back in September 25 in court issue.
Okay, describe to me what those issues are. At least give me a narrative.
Dog feces in the yard, sanitation issues on the alleyway, also in the yard, in front of the house, on the porch, just basically on the front.
Is it your understanding that the dog feces have been thrown out of the residence and onto the surrounding area?
I don't know that they've been thrown out of the house. I know when I was there, 4 or 5 dogs out.
But they existed within the yard area.
Yes,
Could you smell them?
yes,
Okay. And you would be standing outside of the property line?
yeah,
Yes. Okay. And was that a smell that you had smelled before when you would visit the house?
yes.
Okay. In regard to the times that that the owner was in court, were any of these things remedied up until the time of our declaration?
Very little. The owner was just in court again, August 5th. Like I said, this has been going on for. We've been trying to get him to clean that property up. He has finally made some progress just within the last month or so, getting some issues taken care of.
Such as?
Just basically the property cleaned up, sanitation issues as far as the junk and garbage.
To the best of your knowledge, are the animals still at the property? The dogs?
They were there last week when I was there last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it the position of your department and the goal to have these things remedied and permanently cleaned up from at least this point forward, if necessary, through this declaration?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have anything else to provide for us, to assist us in this endeavor this evening in finding a public nuisance?
I don't think so.
Okay. Have you had any talk with any of the neighbors or was ever that those complaints ever come through to you? Or
I did, in July, when I was over there in Gallup, one of the neighbors, to the east side property came out and complained about, she basically stated nothing.
okay. And with the smell from the animals, et cetera, that also is accentuated, shall we say, when the weather is warm.
Yes,
Okay. And you were there in July, and when you spoke with the neighbor.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Does Mr. Olford, if you will stay, because of the way this hearing is, if council has any questions of you, they could ask them as well.
The animals, um, were they malnourished or did they look healthy?
The, there in July getting photos, there was a bunch of garbage lined up outside the fence, chain fence. The dogs were out sticking through the chain fence, ripping at the fence. Garbage, out of the fence.
So perhaps not malnourished, but nourished upon the garbage.
Possibly.
Thank you, Mr. Olford. No, I have two more briefly. Okay, Mr. Helminski, Public Works. Do you swear to tell the truth to this tribunal?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Helminski, what is your title, sir?
Superintendent for the Sanitation and Recycling Department, City.
And you did supply documents in regard to this property in Leavenworth, Florida.
Yes.
Sir, would you tell us why you did so? What those types of concerns are for Public Works?
So, Sanitation Department alone had received 5 different 311 concerns for the property since 2023. Most recent, July 7th. And that was on a Tuesday. Our trash routes run through Wednesday. And they're on the 8th that Wednesday to clean the loose garbage and mess with the fence. And
Is that something that happened? Is that something rare, or how often does it occur with this property?
this property, regular. Like I said, 531.
Mm.
It's an opportunity issue. Mr. Oldfield said, we saw the dogs go garbage.
Okay, and what has the Public Works Department actually have to go out and clean up what is the responsibility of the resident?
Yes,
And have you done that?
yes,
And has the resident used the required recycling areas with recycling bins, which would be a garbage can?
no. We found one can, process of the clean, one can, the rest were bags, garbage.
Did it appear that the animals were going through them?
They were.
And did you see animals?
Yes,
Could you smell the smell of feces?
yes.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add that would be of import to the tribune?
We spent quite a bit of time cleaning up with our time supplies at the truck there on to load everything up. Got it pretty squared away. Took quite a bit of time as we were doing the dogs. Mr. Oldfield's coming through the fence line,
Okay.
going through the park, trying to pull it toward the house.
So would it be fair to say that our workers in Public Works were spending an inordinate amount of time at this property rather than doing their regular routes and servicing the rest of the community in accord with schedule?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Do you believe that the state of the property is that of a public nuisance?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have for Mr. Helminski. If there's any questions from council. Thank you. We will call Deputy Chief Walls. Deputy Chief, will you be telling this tribunal the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Chief, did you have an opportunity to look through the Wheeling Police Department documents that were submitted in regard to this property?
Yes, I did.
Okay, sir, in your own narrative, will you just kind of give us an overview of things or occurrences related to this public nuisance that were included in the document?
Sure. From January 3rd, 2025, until recently, we've responded to 12 incidents involving that property or the people associated with that property. 6 domestic incidents, 1 malicious wounding incident, 2 animal complaints, destruction of property call, and 1 warrant service. The results of that were 5 domestic arrests, 1 the malicious wounding, a capious arrest, and 6 charges of dogs running at large.
Okay. In review of the documents, the dogs running at large, at times there were at least 3 dogs.
On 2 different occasions, yes, 3 dogs were out, according to the documentation, got through the fencing and were running in area where officers located.
Did you note that at one point in time when they were running at large, they had to be penned in or they were chased into the playground area at Madison School?
That is correct.
And at that time, children were not permitted to be upon the playground.
Yes, the school safety officer was contacted and asked to keep all the students inside of the school until the dogs could be removed.
Okay. Is it your belief from the review of the documents and the information provided therein that there exists a public nuisance at this property and with these incidents?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's all I have from Deputy Chief. If there are any questions.
I'm fine. My name is Robert E. Lawson Jr. I live at 11 Florida Street, Wheeling, West Virginia, 26003. I'm a veteran. And you people are harassing me, and I don't like it. And I will go to the VA and get a damn attorney and see what he has to say about this. So I ask that this hearing be continued until I can get my attorney.
Mr. Lawson, do you have anything else to offer at this time?
My maintenance man that comes and rakes the yard twice a week, among others.
Yes, I do have something to say. I'd like to address the council if I could. My name's Joe Benson. First of all, I've been in property management 30 years. I work for Paul Associates. They have a property outside, right across from the firehouse. And I maintain that 1 time a year. And when I do that, it's totally overgrown. He hired me about June of last year. At least 2 times a week, he asked me to come. Most of my clients are up in Aaron Woods. And from the time I've been trying to get things under control, I've seen a change. Now, the pictures that you're showing me are being taken at a certain time of the week. So the garbage is picked on a certain day, but it's like the day before. That whole alley's a mess. It isn't just Mr. Larson's stuff. There's a couple houses that are, I don't know if they're vacant, but grass was so high that they needed a brush hog to cut it. They just cut it today. Now, reason why I bring that up, there's a lot of rodents that come through this field. They're in the garbage, they're ripping the bags up. First of all, I can't afford to go buy 5 cans, like $30. I try to put everything in the bag, but you got all kind of stuff going on the island. As far as the smell goes, that whole island smells like. I'm from St. Clair, so that whole island smells like whatever they're smelling. Because I do know for a fact on that street alone, which would be Florida, there's 23 dogs. Now, I'm not a feces sniffer, but I don't know how they're identifying just his dogs when there's 23 dogs. Now, his dogs did break loose. November of last year, it'd be Thanksgiving, first snow of the year. He calls me, he tells me I come down, I extend this fence up 2 feet in the cold to keep his dogs from running away. Now, they haven't ran since then. There hasn't been a call, hasn't been a complaint about the dogs being loose. So, that remedy did work. All I'm saying is this, there's an empty field, which there was a house right beside it. When they tore this down, it was just left stuff everywhere. I cleaned that up myself. I've been maintaining that field from March this year to July. And I just do it. It just saves him from having, more rodents, and it just looks better. But I do know the city came in July and started mowing. Right. But I've been there since March. And not once have I called the city and say, hey, could you come take care of the field, yay high, whatever. I'm a leader, first of all. I'm not going to wait to do something that needs to be done. And that's kind of who I am. I know this gentleman, he knew my dad, military. I'm 61 years old. I've lost a daughter. I put 4 of my children in college. I've got great clients that I work for today. I'm like property management in Aaronwood. I have pictures, but pictures are only going to tell you that day. I'm there at least, I say twice out of the week after 6 till dark. And as far as seeing the city do whatever, I've done things to try to help them out. He had a tenant at one time, which wasn't a tenant, it was just his friend. The gentleman lost both his legs. So his whole house upstairs had to be totally gutted. And that's kind of where the overflow of garbage came. I had to throw everything away. I mean, bags. So what I did, I built a little stage to get it up off the ground, to keep it from falling into the alley. And as we move forward to where we are now, I'm seeing that they're tearing it down, complaining that they can't get it. That's why I put it up there. Because if you know anything about lifting, if it's not on the ground and it's about this high, it's not too hard to throw it in the truck. Which he does have a lot of bags, because that's all I can afford.
Okay.
I just want the council to know that I am doing what I can do. There is an improvement in that area, because when I do things, I do that whole. I don't just do his property. The gentleman beside me, he's here today, his name is Mr. Perot. I actually maintain his little property that he has.
Okay.
He's a friend of mine. The quality of my work shows through his property itself. His property has a lot of work that needs to be done, but there is progress being made. And that's all I have to say. And thank you for letting me speak. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Benson.
Thank you.
Very briefly, Mr. Oldfield, if you'll just stand up, speak loudly. In regard to, thank you, you gentlemen may say. In regard to, you just heard the comments of Mr. Benson, and you've been familiar with this property for well over a year. Have you ever heard, has Mr. Benson ever appeared or contacted you in any regard toward any of the nuisance violations at this property? Have you ever had any contact from Mr. Benson? Okay, and he did suggest that he can continue to maintain the property. So would you, as the code inspector, believe then the property will, as far as maintenance issues, be remedied? Okay. Okay. First you've heard from Mr. Benson was this evening. Or the first that you ever heard of a Mr. Benson was this evening. Okay, that's all I have. At this point in time, what the city's position is, we would ask for council to consider is that the animals are of major concern and to be should not that the animals should not be remaining on said property. Not only are they our general public nuisance in violation of that, they are also in violation of 507.08, our general dogs and cats area, in regard to the keeping of numerous dogs and the type of feces, stench, etc. on property, and which and 507.08 does address that they are therefore a public nuisance. The city would ask for a motion from city council to find that the council affirm the city manager's recommendation that a public nuisance exists and must be abated. The property must be clear and clean of debris. Proper garbage disposal and garbage cans must be maintained. Garbage cans are required by the city's ordinances, not plastic bags. They are required for such disposal. And they must be maintained, and that there are ongoing problems with the dogs so much that they must be removed and rehomed from the property. We would ask that such motion be made and an order would be drafted in accord with that. And at that point in time, until such order would be presented to council, if this motion passes council, then that will be a period of time where the owner can do this in his own self-help, or the city will abate the nuisance.
Thank you. That concludes the hearing. Is there a motion to return to regular session, please?
We're asking for a motion to be made.
I'm going to do that when we return to session. Yeah, would you please come to the podium so we can hear you, please?
My name is Mike Monroe. I stay at 9 Florida Street, which is directly beside Mr. Lawson's property, Butcher, as we know. I've stayed there for probably a little over 11 years. There's always been issues of some sort. And this is not a personal thing at all. You know, they say good fences make good neighbors, but it's getting out of control. So I used to shovel this man's sidewalk, salt it in the wintertime. I've carried in his groceries. He's fallen in a jar before, but I went out there and helped him, and I think we're supposed to look out for our neighbors. I understand that he's elderly and he's a veteran, and I respect that, and I was taught to respect my elders. But this is it's gotten worse, and it's gaining speed. Over the last 5 years, there's been this constant sewage smell, and I can appreciate he's like smell on the island, right? Okay, fair enough. We kind of know what he's talking about. I'll get home from work and I'll park my truck probably 25, 30 yards from his house. As soon as I open my truck, instantly I smell. The closer you get to the house, it's horrible. There was a sewage leak on that back porch. That's right. I mean, we're talking 10 feet from my property to where my kitchen windows right there, one of my kitchen windows. It was like that for years. I tried to speak to him in a polite fashion, like, what can we do to fix this, to remedy this? And it would go to, I'm having it done, I'm having it taken care of, to, he would kind of get belligerent and kind of get disrespectful. So I would leave it alone. And I get Joe, Mr. Vincent, does work for him. And he does. But that's hit and miss when he's there and these things pop up. One of those first pictures where you look over and you see all this animal feces down this alley, that's directly off my front porch, right? it's to the point now where my kids and we don't, I like to cook out. Everybody likes to put a steak on the grill, maybe have a beer, let the kids play outside. You can't do that. There's flies, the smell is so horrible that you can't even be outside any longer than you have to. It's to the point now when my kids, when we're coming in the house, we literally line up at the door and it's like, everybody get ready. 'Cause when you open the door, you got to shuffle everybody in because the flies are so bad. They come in your house. So it's progressed and progressed and progressed. And I have no issues with him personally, but the dogs, right? It went from he had these 2 service dogs, good dogs, didn't really bother anybody. And now there's either 7 or 8 dogs altogether. So, and I don't know if those pups that he's talking about are spayed or neutered, but what happens when you have animals together that are boys and girls, dogs, right? It's going to be 6 now. It's going to be 15 in a few months. And it's like, where does it end? The trash, there is trash in the alley over there. I keep all my trash in the can, but they tear up stuff. And then ultimately, a lot of it ends up finding its way in my yard. And it's a thing where you can't speak to them or try to resolve this in a peaceful fashion or polite manner. And I don't know what to do at this point. For years, I didn't do anything, and I found out I could file these complaints. So many of those complaints are mine. And I told him that I was filing these complaints. I said, I don't know where else to go from here. I don't see you fined. I don't see you kicked out of your property. But I know he can't keep up with all those things. And the people that he brings there to do it, they do sometimes and they don't sometimes. And that's not directly his fault, but I feel it is his responsibility to take care of his property.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Monroe.
That concludes the hearing. Could I have a motion to return to regular session, please?
Well, yes, we do.
Want me to go back to regular session? I think after that session, right?
Well, no, we can do it at this point in time before going back for your regular session. So that will end the public hearing process. So we would renew our request for a motion from City Council.
Okay, let's restate what's on the table then. I'm looking for someone to make a motion to City Council to find that council affirms the city manager's recommendation that a public nuisance exists and must be abated. The property must be clear of debris. Proper garbage disposal and garbage cans must be maintained. And as there are ongoing problems with the dogs, they must be removed and rehomed from the property. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion?
I do have a question.
Yes.
The animal shelters are not taking animals. They have put it on Facebook. And who will be in charge of actually finding them a place?
Well, we would hope that it's up to the owner of the property to do so. And if not, then the city will abate the nuisance by rehoming. We'll find somewhere.
Okay.
But we want to see a good faith effort on behalf of the property owner between now and a time should this council approve such.
So the whole purpose of this, declaring it a nuisance, is not to take his property from him.
Absolutely.
Just so that's clear. What the request is from you to the city council is to provide the opportunity for the city to come in and abate the property, mean clean it up and fix it up. Is that what you're asking us?
Well, we want the property owner to also maintain and clean his property and not have this occur again. It's a public nuisance on that. So, but if that is not done by Mr. Lawson, then the city will take those appropriate steps and do so and place a lien against the property. Yes,
What's the difference between this action and what he's done for the last year in city court?
because he has not complied, and so we cannot get compliance.
So this is the final step to get compliance.
Yes, yes,
And compliance is to fix the problems,
yes,
which
yes, Councilman,
which
Vice Mayor.
everyone's already testified to over and over again. So we're not taking anyone's property. We're just trying to get the opportunity to come in and clean it. And
Right,
abate the nuisance, so that the neighbors and the other members of our community don't have to deal with this.
absolutely.
That's what we're trying.
That's exactly right.
And even though we've had him in city court for over a year now, it's the same thing over and over again.
Yes, and it's continuing.
All right, I do have one question, and I know this might not, you might not know it, but has Adult Protective Services been involved or called at all? Do we know about that?
Pardon?
Adult Protective Services.
I have no idea.
Does anyone know
No.
if they've been notified, see if this gentleman can get any help through them?
That's not,
Does anyone?
No.
No?
no, but, as far as that goes, we can
Can we make a referral?
make a referral or request,
I mean, they might be able to have some services to help them.
perhaps.
Okay. All right. That's all I have.
Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, I'd ask all those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. All the ayes have it, and this motion, this recommendation is passed on to the city manager. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have a,
I will move to exit the regular order of business. I mean, I'm sorry. I will move to resume the regular order of business.
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye,
Aye.
and we return to regular session at this point. Next on our agenda tonight, we have the mayor's report. I got a couple items. One, I wanted to make sure that we recognize some significant events that have happened here in the last 2 weeks, just signifying again the quality of life here in Wheeling. And I want to thank the people that were connected with these, but an immensely successful Italian festival, the Greek festival, the Lebanese festival, and the Blues Fest. 4 amazing events. We just want to give a public thank you to those organizations and all their volunteers. The other thing I'd like to recognize Councilor Dave Palmer. Dave, this past week, was sworn in as treasurer of the West Virginia Municipal League. So I'd ask you to give Dave a hand. Councilor, we're very glad for your office and know you'll do a great job. The next on the agenda, I have 2 representatives here tonight concerning the Central Foundry property, David Croft and Andre Garinen, to make a brief presentation and let council ask some questions if they may.
Good afternoon, Mayor Magruder, Mr. Herron, members of City Council. I am David Croft with the law firm of Spillman, Thomas and Battle. We represent Silicon Energy LLC. Everybody is aware that this organization purchased the former Center Foundry property. And I'm here on 2 different issues tonight. One, I'm going to ask Mr. Herron with a little help. We're not asking the city for anything. What we're here, and the pledge that I had made the last time I was talking to the city council was that as we have progress, we'll come to you. And we have a little bit of progress we'd like to share with you tonight. But more importantly, there is an agreement on the table that I had sent to City Solicitor Humway Wormuth that binds Silicon Foundry Energy LLC to never apply to be a high output data center. So House Bill 2014 is completely off the table. And part of that reason is because Mr. Herron had reached out to me to say, look, this would make a really positive TIF district. Bob, could you touch on why that wouldn't work with House Bill 2014?
Yes, so House Bill 2014 specifically excludes TIF districts from high impact data center consideration. So if someone were to apply to be a high impact data center, they would not, the community that they were in, whether it be a city or a county, could not create a TIF district as a result of that. So our discussion with you, our proposal was that you had indicated that you were not going to be a high impact data center. So the opportunity would be there that if that is in fact the case, would you enter an agreement to that fact, and then the city would then be able to create a TIF district, or actually expand the downtown TIF district to the Center Foundry property, which currently does not have a whole lot of value on it. And then any value associated with this project would then be captured as part of the TIF district and be able to be used in economic development in our very lucrative and successful TIF district that we've utilized for the past 25 years. And you have agreed to do that. We did receive a draft agreement this afternoon, which I haven't had a chance to review, but it takes the high impact or the certification under House Bill 2014 off the table. I know we could have created a TIF district regardless, okay? But the fact that you're agreeing to do that enables us to then, in the event that it is included in the TIF district, issue bonds, which would then be binding on, you as a property owner to uphold your agreement, because there would be damages in the event that you didn't, because if you went with 214 and became a high impact data center, the TIF district would go away, and we're trying to prevent that. So
Thank you for the explanation, Mr. Heron. And so I'm pleased to report to council that when I presented this to Mr. Garanin, there wasn't a hesitation, because he said we'll never be 90 megawatts. That was never the intention. And so the agreement prohibits this organization from having that site or any other site it may own in the city of Wheeling to ever be a high impact data center or be eligible to become a high impact data center. Before I move on to number 2, any questions on that point from city council? So that's a win-win for everybody, I think.
Bob, you want to explain what that actually means real quick?
So the city had the original tax increment financing district in the state of West Virginia back in 2003, when the voters approved a constitutional amendment to permit tax increment financing in West Virginia. At the time, I think there were 47 other states that allowed it, but it had to be done by a constitutional amendment in West Virginia. So we've had that TIF district, which is generally the downtown, goes out through East Wheeling, takes in the industrial parts of Center Wheeling for the past, since 2003. Some of the projects that it has funded are the health plan. There's been assistance with the Regional Cancer Center, the Capitol Theater, the 1400 block. There's been other infrastructure improvements that the streetscape was partially funded by TIF. So we do have an established TIF district, and I did speak with the state of West Virginia, which would have to approve an amendment to our TIF district and explain to them what we were thinking with this particular property. And they've indicated, at least verbally, that once we put together the application, that they would approve it. But basically what happens is there's an assessed valuation at the Center Foundry property right now. That would be what's called the base evaluation. So whatever that is and whatever that generates as far as property taxes, and for example, let's just say it generates $10,000 in property taxes. Now that would continue, that would be the base. Any additional investment that was put into that property, and in this case, I think we're talking over $100 million, would then go on the tax rolls. The property owner would pay the taxes just like everybody else pays the taxes, but that increment, 60% of that additional value goes to the tax increment financing district. So what would start out at 10,000, say it ended up at 200,000, 190,000 of that would go towards economic development in the TIF district. Okay, and then I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but when you're in a tax increment financing district, you don't necessarily know it. You pay your taxes as if you were not in the district, but of the taxes that you pay above and beyond the base value, which in this case would be the tax year 2026, 60% of that goes to the TIF district, 40% goes to voted bond issues, excess levies for the school district, et cetera. Any lost revenue from a TIF district to the school district is made up by the state through their school aid form. So there's no loss to the school district. So the advantage here is that any investment that's put onto the Center Foundry property as a result of this project, 60% of that assessed valuation or taxes paid would then be captured by the city for use in economic development, generally in the downtown South Wheeling or Center Wheeling and East Wheeling.
And so the whole purpose of this is if they agree that they're never going to try to certify it, we're going to be able to have that economic boom. We're going to get that benefit.
That's correct. And the agreement enables the city in the future, and we don't have any plans to do this right now, but in the future, but we have done it 5 times to issue bonds. Without that agreement, the city would not be able to issue bonds because they could apply to be a high impact data center down the road, and we couldn't assure a bondholder on a tax increment financing issue. The bondholder is 100% responsible for the TIF bond and payment. That we could certify that we would have that increment available to make debt service. By entering into this agreement, we're able to certify that they will not go under 2014 and then become ineligible because TIF districts are not permitted under that statute.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Sklavonakis, on that?
Well, I mean, our ability to, you know, have bonds is that's how we fix our roads. That's how we fix our sewers. I mean, that's sort of a major function of a municipality. So this helps us further our goals.
Okay, so if we're done with that part of the discussion, or if anybody else has anything else, I'm glad to address it. I provided Jessica with a file to show what we're going to do. Introduce Andre Garanin from Silicon Foundry LLC. Well, we're just going to show you what the current layout's looking like with some of the engineered drawings. Andre, please introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is My name is Andrei Garanin. I am Chief Energy and Infrastructure Officer from Silicon Foundation, which is the owner of Silicon Foundry Energy LLC. We acquired this property, I think this May. It's effectively, just to kind of state, it's a stripped down facility, just only the carcasses left of the old buildings. And what we intend to do there, and I think I've been meeting some of you previously, about a year ago, that we intend to do several things here. One thing is the deployment, utilizing existing infrastructure, which is energy there, is deploying several modules and keeping the main building, which is right now, you see along the road, the Warwood Avenue, which we're going to keep and refurbish and utilize it for the assembly plant. So the part is that effectively what we're doing is effectively a power campus. Effectively what it does is that the reason why I acquired it, because this region is part of PJM, and sorry, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll try to speak louder. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Maybe you can enlarge it because I didn't know the size of the screen. Anyway, so the idea is to put several battery storage compute modules, which you can see there. They're probably like roughly 1.5 meg each. And the current facility is rated for 10 megawatt. This is exactly what the power was consumed by the Central Foundry previously, before it was closed a couple of years ago. So we tend to utilize exactly this facility and in this manner. The other part, which is drawn in the red, maybe just kind of not really magnified, but that's a manufacturing plant because it has all the heavy lifting cranes and gantries, which we want to reutilize and refurbish. Right now, currently, in the previous session, or a few weeks ago, I presented the actual rendering, how it's going to look like. It's not part of this presentation, but that's the drawing based on the surveying work, which has been still not finalized, but completed at least the size we completed just last week. We received it from our surveyors. So as we speak, effectively, we are still working on the drawings and the actual plans. But and just to state that we are gated by the power available at the property and the cables which are running to it. So any discussion about the high impact data centers, well, I think it's a bit it's a far reach. And I just would like to reinstate that we came here to Wheeling a year ago. I think I would not be wrong saying that the bill was not even accepted at that time. I think it was May 2025, and then our model was exactly the same. So we did not come up with and change something because of the bill which appeared during the process of last year. So here's our plans, which are for the immediate future, and we would like to get going both on the manufacturing and the campus side by the end of Q1, provided we are cleared with all the permits and allowed to operate. A third thing I would like to add is that we have one building which we've discussed as well with the city and the teams which have been working here, that we would like to deploy here a training facility. We call it Training Academy. We know that there is a shortage of skilled worker specialists for whatever AI infrastructure build out going on, not just here in this country, but worldwide, effectively. So that's our plan. And yeah, happy to answer any questions.
Or how much electricity, and I know you said this, how much electricity do you anticipate this site using?
Well, anticipate right now we have 10 megawatts. That's what we rated.
10
10. All right.
10 megawatts.
Right now, 10 megawatts.
And the 10 megawatts prior, when it was Center Foundry, how much electricity did they use?
Around 10. That's what I know from historical facts.
About the same. So,
Yeah.
So is the infrastructure that's already there, what are you going to have to do to it to get up?
Effectively, we just need to add the electrical equipment, which is kind of further down the road after the substation, which is in place over there. And that's effectively, well, that's a major part of the investment going on there, except the actual GPUs, because it's going to be a co-location facility, which we're going to host GPUs from our clients. Yeah, I'm hoping I'm not too confusing, so just ask me about that.
What about when you upgrade from a 10, 20, or 30? Would be costs associated with that? Would you guarantee that like the residents would have to pay for the?
Oh, good. Yeah, I can say about that. Basically, there is a why I'm saying there is a kind of any future upgrades which we will have on the and will potentially have on the side is still gated by the actual cables, which is the 69 kV line. You cannot push like 100 megawatts through that. It's just impossible. And, you need to replace the whole infrastructure of the like in the region, including the substation which are feeding that, but which will be just prohibitively costly. So that just to mention on that. The upgrades which we can theoretically can push roughly maybe 50 megawatt. I'm still waiting for the information from the utility to say what is the actual capacity can be there. But if any scenario which we have there, we are gated by the cable and we gated by the size of the facility. We cannot expand beyond it. So there's like there's only one footprint. And any discussion that we're deploying some kind of giant unit over here, like I know somewhere I read in the article, 60,000 square feet, which is the size of the existing facility, not the size of the data center we would build. We actually want to build modular units which will be able to hold and host GPUs. That's it.
So the module units, that's the manufacturing talk about.
We are manufacturing, talking about the actual, the other part, which I would like to say is that before the, next to units, you see the battery systems. Again, the battery, what it is, it's actually part of the, called like energy transition, which is going on. Effectively, what right now, with whatever is happening with the grid, electric grid, that they would like it not, but it's going on. Batteries and storage is needed. So that's what my company has been doing like previously, and actually my professional engagement in the energy industry was like for the past few years was about battery storage and grid balancing, and that's the reason we acquired this facility. It's not supersized like in terms of the deployment of the large scale data center. So we're not a classic kind of developer of the like a tech giant units. We've been working in the with the utilities and with the grid providers and commercial power plants to enable them to operate large load consumers to avoid actually reducing the cost eventually to the end consumers, because you don't need to run the like I said, like gas picker plant or reserve certain capacities to supply the grid. And just one more thing to say of that topic is that when you have the consumers like Central Foundry, which are fallen away from the, let's say, from the grid, from the local grid, effectively, it doesn't mean that the bills for the consumers are reduced. It means that it will have the existing infrastructure, which was built out for maybe for different era, but for large consumers, these costs have to be spread out across all of the consumers. There is no kind of free ride on that. So there is not a classical, say, comparison of, okay, will be increased demand. That means that the bills will rise. It actually happens quite often the opposite. When you have the reduction in consumption, you will end up in that the bills and the cost of the running the infrastructure will be passed on to the consumers.
Why is that?
Sorry?
Why is that? Why? I mean, so why would the consumption? All right. So I'm trying to follow you, and I apologize. So we've talked about the power consumption that you're going to have. How is that going to affect the utility? You're saying that it's going to possibly reduce our rates, and if so, how is that?
First of all, it's going to reduce the cost of the power. Say, like, I cannot speak of the utility behalf. That's them to make a decision whether to pass on any cost savings or reinvest it. It's already a kind of secondary part. But the thing is that when in the energy grid, when some certain consumers fall away, as typically stop paying the bills, so there's no cash flow coming from that. Infrastructure stays. I mean, it doesn't mean the utility will kind of suddenly fire off several people. They will still need to go to the substation, still need to service the same power lines and same transformers. It's just, the costs are kind of, these are fixed costs which you need to pay anyway. That's passed on to consumers. What is variable is the power generation part, but it's only part of the energy bill of end consumers. If you look at your energy bill, it's not just a kind of one figure, which is kind of correlated to the power generation and the consumption.
Explain that when we, as consumers, when we get our bill, what are we paying for? What are we, AEP gives us a bill. Explain, what do you mean by that?
You're paying like two major components.
Two components of
One is
our electricity bill.
Right.
Okay.
We are, by the way, we are in PGM, so it's a deregulated market.
I'm sorry, what did you say? PGM?
PGM is PGM interconnection, this region.
That's our region that we're in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what you have is that you have power generators. Let's say it can be part of AEP on the balance sheet of theirs. It can be independent producers. Let's say somebody like us or somebody build a solar power plant.
Okay.
They will fit into the grid. That's a variable cost. Basically, it's like it's whatever how much power they generated. That's what they sell. And there is a fixed part. It's effectively it's a transmission. So you're paying effectively two things. It's one thing is power generation. That's the cost power consumed and produced. And the other part is the infrastructure, basically transmission costs, being like all the cables, transformers, and the substations which you see around the city.
So the power generation costs and the infrastructure costs of our bills, how is your plan going to affect these parts of our bills? Because from what I'm understanding, you're saying is when we look at our AEP bill, it's broke. There's two major things that we're paying for: power generation and then the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Okay. How does your proposal affect those two line items in our bills from AEP?
What I'm talking about actually about the so maybe diving deeper, I touched on the batteries itself, right?
What stuff?
On the batteries. The batteries.
Batteries. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. The best system. The best system is the batteries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. The best system is basically what you have is that you can have let's say a flat base load consumer, right? It's like just which is inflexible. It doesn't react to respond to peaks and so on and so on.
Okay.
And I don't want to dive in too much deeper into explaining how the tariffs works, but usually what you can get is that if your large load consumer is flexible and dispatchable, meaning that if there is a peak hours, because the system works like this. The energy system always works on the, let's say, the most expensive generation sets the price for everyone else, meaning that during the low consumption period, your bills are, the energy price is low. That's what you can see on the market. And when you have the peak demand, then everyone, basically system is stressed. So what's usually happening that the most expensive power generation, let's say gas power generation plant, is being switched on. So they're kind of setting the price for everyone else. So people are paying that amount. And the alternative of that would be having such flexible or controllable large consumer, which can reduce its consumption sometimes to 100% during the peak times. Meaning that you
use the battery during peak.
Exactly.
Our consumption off battery.
And yeah, Justin, by the way, the recent discussion with FERC, and I think that's it's a Federal Energy Commission, basically what they are actually proposing right now, that any large load, so especially it's obviously it's talked about data centers, should be flexible, or should be dispatchable, meaning that they can actually, that's quite often built into many data center design. They have backup power, which they can transfer. Just nobody wants really to play with that because it's really high stakes and expensive machine to play with. But if you build and design it from the start, then that's a different story. Then we can actually do that.
All right, what about the infrastructure part of the?
Yeah, infrastructure is a fix. It's not whatever. Let's say, okay, put it this way: there is a certain capacity. Let's say this system has 1 gigawatt of capacity, say this region.
Okay.
And it has like the whole infrastructure is built to transfer 1 gigawatt of generation to 1 gigawatt of consumers. Actually, it works the other way from consumer to generation part. And let's say you have instead of 1 gigawatt, you have suddenly 500 megawatt, I mean, half the consumption on that side. Your infrastructure is still for 1 gigawatt, and it's still kind of costs the same. It doesn't mean like whether your bus is full or half full, you're still paying the full fare, and you need to pay to cover the cost of the transportation. I mean, the bus driver will pay you, will charge you, even if he has half of the passengers, he will still charge you the cost of the trip because he has still to burn the same fuel. I think this was I just made up this comparison.
All right, so you getting online shouldn't affect the infrastructure cost for any.
No, I mean, not in this case. Look, again, we are, first of all, utilizing currently exactly the same infrastructure which has been under Central Foundry. And that's exactly kind of, we are bringing back this power, in fact, we're bringing back this cash flow to the system. That's what we're doing right now. And future development, again, whatever way we go, that's we still get it like by the power lines which we have coming to the facility. And again, we already stated that we're happy to sign an agreement with the city that we are not utilizing the bill 2014 because when we came here first time, it was not even in place. I think it did not impact our model on or in our decision, our investment decision.
All right, so that was a lot of stuff, and I did understand all that, believe it or not, because I come from this world. But I would like to simplify what we just heard. Okay,
Please.
so if I can just break this into a lot less words. First of all, you're starting with 10 kilowatts, megawatts, 10 megawatts, right? And you're committing that you will not go over 69 no matter what. That's what the infrastructure has right there now. That's what the infrastructure can handle as of right now with the physical substation, the lines that are there. You're committing that you're not going above that.
No, sorry. I'm committing. We're not going above that. Yeah,
You are committing that you will not go above 69 megawatts.
69 kV is a theoretical line. Realistically, we can build like 50 meg.
Okay, and
It's into future sometimes.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you're
Sure.
saying.
Yeah.
Right. And you have confirmed that AEP has the capacity to power that right now without them doing anything additional to do that. They have the capacity, they have excess capacity to handle that load right now.
According to them, yes.
Okay. Are you using any diesel generators?
I'm not.
No diesel generation?
No.
So are you taking water from the river?
No.
To cool?
No, and I would like to say to state that we research certain clients across US, and which even in the like slightly southern from here, they most of them use closed loop system because using water from outside means like you need to install quite a lot of cleaning facilities, and we will not take the kind of the fish and whatever from there just to cool down the GPUs.
So you're not taking any water from the river?
No.
And you're not putting anything back in the river?
No.
You're not cooling it with the municipal water supply?
No.
So
We will not use any external water sources.
Okay, so there won't be. So it's not going to be any load on our municipal water supply?
No.
And what other pollution things? What other types of pollution, whether it's air pollution or noise pollution, do we need to understand?
About air pollution, we're not installing something which is emitting any air. It's not kind of, there is no power generation on the site, and there is nothing that emits any materials or any gases, fumes to them. So it's a pure tech. It's effectively, it has emissions as just a normal computer. And that's it. So in terms of that's about the emissions to the air.
So you're not doing any power generation on site. You're using the existing electric that's there to power your batteries as the backup, and you're saying that will help stabilize the grid. You'll use those batteries during peak times,
Yep.
as opposed to using the grid during peak times. And so you're not doing any power generation on site whatsoever.
No, not power generation. The only thing we just reserve our place for backup. Probably we'll get away without it because right now it's still kind of studying in terms of whether batteries replace 24-hour operation. It might be reserved backup gas gen sets, gas gensets, meaning that it's not a diesel, but there is no storage of fuel, and they are just for the emergency part if there's a total power loss there. Sorry? There is, yeah, it could be a gas backup. If we get away from
Natural gas.
yeah, we have gas line on site. Anyway. Sorry? It's connected, yeah, it was utilized by the by Central Foundry. They were using some gas. But again, it's not a gas generation because if the power is lost in the region, the people will switch on their diesel gensets. I don't know, diesel or petrol gensets. So whatever it will be there, it will be unfeeder. But it's just for certify that event, unlikely event of any power beyond 5 or 6 hours, we still have to carry out.
So I mean, I'm sure you've seen it, right? We've all seen these videos of these horrible, monstrous data centers that completely destroy the quality of life for the people surrounding, right? And those are very, very valid concerns. They're real. You've seen the videos, right? You turn the water on, they don't get any water. They get brown water, whatever. They have this low pitch hum that just never goes away that drives them nuts. They get the mattresses up against the wall, right? What reassurances can you offer? What reassurances do you have so that people here know that that's not going to be the case?
I kind of want to piggyback. Do you have any data sound TV during regular hours or things like emergencies?
All right.
During emergency backup.
There is, yeah, we can basically for any equipment of this type. But let's take the loudest part, right? People are concerned about what are the noise levels. And again, first of all, the only noise you can hear is effectively it's the same thing what you have in ACs. It's a dry cooler with with fans. So it's not a helicopter sound. That's one thing. There is another thing. There's a formula of the decibels, meaning the sound, how far it travels from the actual source of noise, and that we're happy to provide that on the certified equipment, which we will put there. Because again, just to reiterate, we've been, I think, just to comment maybe on other bad designs and what other people are suffering in other parts of the country, is that data center industry has been going kind of in general. I'm not an advocate for it, but it's been going through certain. It's been undergoing certain involvement. To say, like, if you compare the cars which have been running like 50 years ago, it's just a different pace of the progress. And if there was a bad design, somebody put it in next to. I've seen some of the development and sort of developers developing data centers next to not just in the communities but next to recreational area. I don't know what kind of I cannot judge why it's done that way, but we came here to do things a bit differently. I think clear from the start. Those people who know me, who spoke to me, showed to me that we came here to see. We specifically took the old rundown brownfield site, industrial, which has been industrial designated, and I don't remember somebody when I was asking about like community engagement about a year ago, and I was told that, guys, whatever you're going to do there, tech stuff, is going to be still better when Central Foundry was doing there before us. So that was our intent, and we're happy to provide the evidence of the let's say the sound and any other air pollution. There are limits, but we're not going to generate power there constantly.
So we have a commitment from you as well to not expand your footprint, right? I mean, so
yeah.
that current plot right there is what you're committed to. There's no. I mean, you're going to commit to not buying up adjacent property and not expanding this.
No, we cannot. Just the thing, we will not. So I'm committing and my company is definitely committing that we'll stay on the same footprint, and just operate and do the best what we can for the not just for ourselves but as well for the community.
And I think the concerns here are valid, and I mean, we've all seen the videos, right? Now that being said, I've heard what you've said, and I and it makes sense, to me, right? And that might not be a popular answer, but I mean, you know, as well as everybody else here, that last meeting where we met with you, the one meeting we met with you, you explained it. I mean, I grilled you that entire meeting. I asked you all the tough questions, and I asked you 6 different ways, the same questions to make sure I got the same answer, right? So, I mean, you're also committing. You're not going higher. I mean, look at, you know, the concerns are nobody in this community wants to see a gigantic 7-story data center that is a ridiculous loud that takes away from the peaceful enjoyment of everybody's property. You know, the water is obviously a valid concern in some data centers. I understand your plan here. It's not happening here. But we need some more reassurances. And again, I understand that you've clarified some of these things, but the way this was all kind of just, we woke up one day to a Facebook post and saw this. I mean, that was pretty scary. I mean, and thus the people's responses here. I mean, that was a really crappy way for everybody in this entire city to find out. And but I do appreciate your effort to clarify the details on that, because that matters, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, City Manager and Ms. Delbert, the industrial zoning here, I mean, this does fit within that, right? I mean, like we don't have to pick and choose who goes where, right? I mean, it fits within the zoning plan there, but there's still rules and regulations about the amount of noise that can be generated, the amount of light that can be generated, the amount, you know, pollution and things like that can be generated, right? I mean, this isn't a free for all, make as much noise. I mean, we have ordinances in place for our sound. Yeah.
I know we have noise ordinances already on the books, and because they're not, we're not precluded from forcing them, they still have to comply with those noise
No,
ordinances.
I think I speak for both
And
of us, and I'm sure Ms. Delbert can from the planning and zoning section. We've talked about that. Yes, we have numerous ordinances that are already in line and can be used for enforcement. There are inspections in regard to the property, et cetera, for development upon that current footprint. Ms. Delbert, do you have anything else to add on that? We do. Sound everything. Right.
And
Have time, meaning there's a sound ordinance for daytime.
There are.
it changes by, I think,
Yeah,
10.
and there are some that are particular to land use, and there are some general ordinances that are applicable.
So all those ordinances are still applicable. That's facility, just like Center Foundry. Center Foundry had to live under those ordinances, right? And they will as well.
And I
So
just want
Can I chime in here?
Yeah.
Oh.
I can tell you how my residents are gonna look at it. They're not gonna see a win-win. They're gonna see an improvement, limiting the impact. We're still getting an impact. We're limiting. That's a good thing, but we're still getting an impact. Our ordinances do apply. That's a good thing. We can keep lid on things. We keep things from getting out of hand. But are my neighbors gonna be happy? They're gonna let me know. I know that. But I hate to say this, it's like the doctor walking in the office telling you got a lot less cancer than what they thought you had. I just wanted to give you my take on it.
I have one question. You said about training. Will the residents of Wheeling be considered first for the training and the jobs, or will you be bringing someone from the outside?
For us, it makes sense to use only local people, because it doesn't make sound to bring somebody from other states or other countries. It just doesn't make sense. The thing is, we believe that when we came here, I know maybe kind of it sounds for me kind of well, we still need to earn our kind of gain our trust here. But when we came to this region, we understand that there is a lot of skillful people in place. In fact, I've been meeting with the trades this morning, and I've been explaining exactly what we're going to do there. And I understand that we would like to utilize the local skilled labor and effectively train them to operate this specialized equipment. And because we know that there are going on like bigger projects and investment coming into this industry. It can be, of course, like projects might be stopped, right? by the residents. There will be like lawsuits, whatever. But the thing is, the industry is still developing, and we believe that there is, first of all, it's been identified. It's not just, don't take my word for it. Effectively, you can read it in the thing recently, BlackRock, something identified that one of the bottlenecks right now is actually the number of trained specialists who can handle that equipment, not just assemble it, but service it in the future. So that's reality. We are just meeting demand here, and we're happy to cooperate. In fact, for us, we don't have to do that, this part, and it just creates another administrative layer because we have things to do. But we're quite busy on that part. But it was one of the ways to give back the community effectively, to create more skillful people, to allow them earn more. And to be honest, I believe that this is where you can bring back the industrial part, which is in this region has been famous for. So.
No, I have a couple more things. Sorry, I'm long-winded, but this is serious.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
I want to know, and I want to hear from, our legal department, code enforcement department, city manager, that, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we don't have, our hands are fairly tied on this. We don't have a lot of things to do, but we do have controls in place to try and, I agree with you. Son, you're right. But we don't, I mean,
We're getting,
we don't have a choice. But I want a commitment from city council, city administration, that we'll be 6 feet up their asses if these ordinances are not followed. If the quality of life, the neighbors in the people in these neighborhoods are impacted by this noise, sound, light, whatever, I want a yes, everybody in this room, that we're gonna that account to our ordinances.
Well, the answer for me is yes.
Yes.
And Andre, if I can ask you, I mean, I'm going to put you on the spot here, but I would ask you just to those folks and tell them you're not going to ruin their lives. I mean, because we are a neighborhood of folks here, a community of folks here that have invested in our community, that bought houses here, that live here, that, I use the term salt on our neighborhoods in other instances over the last few years. And I don't believe this is. I believe what you're telling me is true. I understand the technology. I don't think that this is going to be, but my opinion doesn't matter as much as everybody else in this room.
One thing, I can definitely make a statement that from the start, from basically our intent, even that lots of things has changed over the year, right, until we managed to finalize the acquisition of the property. None during that period of time was any, not just intention to actually to make or the intention or fear that we can make the lives of the neighborhood worse than it is right now, because effectively the whatever we bring in there, it's effectively part of the investment which is happening in this industry, and I just don't see why the why would, like, let's say, local communities would not welcome some new development, because the foundry will not come back. It's just thinking nobody wants to be back there, or like somebody to come there and put like a chemical plant over there.
we have no idea what 69 megawatts is going to do. Just don't know.
That's what I'm trying to explain. The thing is, when everyone looks at the power consumption, everyone forgets about the other part. Is that the actual, in terms of actually workforce and the employment, the assembly part would be much bigger than the power consumption. And for us, to be honest, I mean, the reason why we came to see this property, because we really wanted to use the existing infrastructure, whatever's in place, and the way it's done. And never in our anyway internal communication we planned like to build like a massive gray box of a data center over here, simply because it's just that there is a limitation in terms of capacity, and probably we discussed it before, but you understand there are limitations like physics.
Like I said, the concern here, and I'm done after this, but the concern is that we've all seen the videos of the hyperscaler data centers, right? And the distinction here is this is not that size. This is not that. It's not a gigawatt facility. I get all that, and I genuinely do. Like I said, I do believe that this is not going to be as big of an impact as those things. I'm not as concerned about that. Again, I'm just one person. But that's the concern. We need to be very, I mean, people need reassurances. And I appreciate you coming here and taking this grilling today. For a lot of tough questions that had to come out today. And as you know, we've been figuring this stuff out, over the last couple of weeks. And Dee Dee, I mean, our lives have been absorbed up by it since the day we woke up to that post, right? And part of our quiet, I don't want to say lack of response is us figuring it out. Like we're not gonna go spout off about what we think we know until we've actually done our due diligence and understood it better. So I appreciate that. But I just need you to understand that that's the concern of everybody in this room. You've seen the videos. They're loud. They hum. They, all the pollution. Some of the old ones. I don't think that's the case here, but I just need you to be aware that those are the reasons that everybody in this room is about.
Can I comment on the noise and the whatever the videos are circulating on the internet, right? There are a lot of examples of bad business conduct in many industries, not just in this one. And that's you kind of. I would just call for, let's say, at least for us to for a chance to give our perspective on our plans and what we intend to build, and that and not judged by the worst case. Somebody, I'm sure it's kind of. It's if you look at it, I probably sometimes you travel across along data centers, you see them next to the road, and not every one of them are kind of as bad as it's been shown. So I think it would be fair to say we've been. I think there have been lots of claims on the social media about our plans and how we're going to ruin the life of the neighborhood community before we even had a chance to come up with plans, because we didn't have a survey to put the footprint on it. Because the thing is, we again the post which came out, it actually came out like a bit earlier. It's not from us. It was on one of our contractors who decided to kind of just to showcase these are good guys. There was all good intentions. There was nobody tried to kind of to uncover some kind of hidden conspiracy here. And we've been engaged with the city in terms of our general in general plans. But before we had a chance to actually to come and show how it's going to look like, I have some renderings. I showed it last time at the hearing, and I think we've been we're trying to be at least as transparent as possible. And I'm easy to reach. Effectively, who wanted to really reach out to me? I'm easily accessible on LinkedIn, on any other social media. And apparently, I had to call the journalist just to explain. I was in Germany at that time when I think came out, but it just coincided. But again, don't judge us at the worst business conduct, because in any industry you can find really bad examples. I don't want to go into details, but I'm not speaking on the script here. But there are examples of like say certain let's say businesses are taking kind of advantage of the either local communities or local infrastructure and just trying to make extra margin. We work in a slightly different way, because I would say like this: data centers in general, they are the way they've been built in old days. Right? Because right now, lots of data centers which people hear about, these have been designs of the past decade or even earlier. So this is not something which is done modern. And if you talk about the recent developments here, that's a completely different animal in terms of the first of all technologies being used, the power concentration, and especially our facility. We always the reason why we came here is not because of cheapest power, because if we were looking for just cheapest power and the large facility, we'd probably go to Texas somewhere. But we came over here just for one reason, because we really wanted to go to utilize the access to the energy market, the GM market, because this was our major driver. I think we've been quite open about this. This was the reason, not because of power. This is not the cheapest area for power. It's not our major driver. The driver was the commercial way to operate with the grid. That's our major incentive.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Maybe talk about this investment module at battery that power and people. Also, we've seen like hypothetical
Outside. I have a comment for that. Most modern BSS systems, they are, first of all, they are actually, as the technology develops, they're becoming safer and safer. So you rarely hear, I mean, there is a possibility of any kind of burning material, right, to catch fire. Just any building can catch fire. There is a standard, it's UL 1940. I'm not sure exactly the number, but any equipment have to be certified for compliance to that, because otherwise we will not be able to just work with the fire department, because they need to know what kind of facility we are deploying over there. And the other part is that we need to get our insurance. So it has to be certified and compliant. So there's only limited amount of suppliers are able to provide that.
Any other questions from council? Andre and David, I'm sorry, this is not a public hearing. But this is a report on the mayor's agenda. So, we've been invited to learn more about this. The community has a quest to learn, and that's what we're here to try to provide. So we've invited these gentlemen to come and to offer answers to our questions. I think the public obviously has the right to ask council and the media questions, and we'll pose those in due time.
No, this is,
This is not a public hearing, Mr. DeGeorge.
no.
You will be able to speak at the end if you have signed up.
If you sign
This
up.
is, all right.
Yep.
This is not a debate nor a public hearing. This is a report that we do for many other items, many other propositions. There is a space at the end of this meeting, and I see that you are signed up to speak.
It is
no.
not, it is not in accord with the rules of council.
To order, please. We're trying to do this the appropriate way with the appropriate decorum. And I want to say thanks to these gentlemen to come and try to answer our questions. And I think we have a commitment from them. As more questions arise, as we get more questions and concerns, we'll invite them back. We're trying to learn the same as everybody else. And that's the purpose for tonight. So I would thank you, gentlemen, and say that this portion of the mayor's report is completed. Thank you. Please, let's keep the order here. I don't want to have to ask the honor guard to take control.
There is decorum that's required within this body. Okay. Please continue, Mayor.
They do have a place to speak. So let's move on to the clerk's report, please. I want to follow the agenda.
There's a notice of application to the West Virginia ABCA for Dean's Omega located at 1414 Market Street. And that concludes the clerk's report.
Thank you. Unfinished business.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $21,216 with Samsara of San Francisco, California for vehicle alerts and monitoring to be charged as follows. $1,224 to building and planning, $8,160 to operations, $816 to vehicle maintenance, $2,244 to sanitation, $1,020 to parking authority, and $3,672 to WPCD, and $4,080 to water.
I'll move to adopt the ordinance.
I second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'd ask you to please record your votes. Okay, that motion's approved.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $32,551.22 with Arnold Fire Equipment LLC of Honeybrook, Pennsylvania for turnout gear for the fire department to be charged to the city service fee.
Move for adoption of the ordinance. Second.
Is there any discussion? Once again, hearing none, please record your votes.
Yes.
That motion's approved.
An ordinance of the council, I do believe there is a resident who wanted to speak, so we will need a motion to.
There is. We have Mr. Michael Borsick who has signed up to speak. We'll allow you to speak now because your topic is the next item on our agenda. Please, your name in 3 minutes.
Yeah, Michael Borsick, 24 Walnut Avenue. For the record, I'm here in my personal capacity. This ordinance has been one we've asked for in the Woodstown neighborhood. The reason I signed up to speak was Ms. Holloway had indicated she had spoken to some neighbors and there were some concerns about this ordinance. I know I've spoken to Councilman Sklavonakis about this. What this really does is it takes an unspoken rule of the Woodsdale community that you can't park on both sides of Woodlawn Lane, and it makes it an actual ordinance. The issue has gone on for years that cars will park on one side of Woodlawn Lane in one block and the other side in another block, and it makes a really hard, innavigable situation. So I'll be brief. I know there's some other people who want to speak tonight, so I do encourage passage, and I thank City Council for their work in getting this passed. Thank you.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Wheeling to extend the no parking zone on the east side of Woodlawn Lane to Pine Avenue.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none again, I'd ask you please record your vote.
Yes.
Motion approved.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Wheeling to extend the time of designated no parking zones located along the intersections of Valley View Avenue and the ABC streets to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I move to adopt the ordinance.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Please record your votes. That motion's approved.
And that concludes unfinished business.
Thank you. We do have some held over minutes here from the Hall of Fame board minutes of June 9, 2026, and the Traffic Commission meeting minutes from May 14 of 2026. Is there a motion to accept those as held over?
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And those minutes will be accepted as received as accepted. Remarks from council at this time, and I am going to go to my far right here and have Councilor Acero begin comments tonight.
During the last meeting, several of you asked for a moratorium on any further data center development. While researching information for moratorium on that, our legal department brought to my attention a West Virginia Supreme Court of Appeals case from the year 2000, Brown versus the Corporation of Bolivar. On December 7th, 1999, the Bolivar Town Council passed a resolution imposing a 9-month moratorium on building permits to study and evaluate their building and zoning ordinances. The court found that the moratorium was unlawful and Bolivar was banned from adopting similar moratoriums in the future. For this reason, we cannot adopt a moratorium. I just want to make sure you knew why.
Thank you. Councilor Simon.
No comments.
Councilor King.
This past weekend, we had the Blues Fest, and the overwhelming people that came into our city, was amazing. All kind of music, food. I made several friends from out of state, and they say they love it here in Wheeling, and they see the growth. And I just wanted to pass that on.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Nothing this evening.
Councilor Thorngate.
Thank you.
Councilor Palmer. That concludes the comments from councilors. Next, we have report of committees. We do have before us the Development Committee minutes from July 11 or July 21, 2026. We have the Finance Committee minutes from July 21, 2026. And we have the special meeting minutes from July 27, 2026. Is there a motion to accept those as received?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Please. Hey,
You will be ejected.
folks, let's have a little decorum, please. I think you saw evidence tonight that your council representatives have concern. They're trying to do what's right. So we have a decorum. We have a decorum that we have to obey, and I would ask you to please do that.
Okay.
They can do that in a public hearing.
Please, the mayor
Okay.
has spoken on this.
Report of the city manager, Mr. Herron.
Great, thank you, Mayor. The paving contractor will be mobilizing next week. It's been delayed about 10 days due to weather, so that project will begin. As you know, there are several streets that will be resurfaced throughout the city. I'm also happy to report the Center Market Roof Project which is about 85% complete. That project has gone very well. Yeah, and we've had a couple of issues with the roof that was rotted underneath where we didn't think it would be. We've taken care of all those. It's been in tight quarters down there. Obviously, the contractors worked very well with the business community. And as I said, we're in the home stretch there, and hopefully we'll be completed here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then I'm also happy to report that the Clay School demolition project has been completed. You have a chance to take a look at that. The restoration work was outstanding. The site was left in very good condition. And now, the next part of that is trying to figure out ways to raise funds to put a new facility on that location. So we'll be beginning that and have a nice piece of property to show future funders that might be interested in assisting us with developing that property. That's my report.
Thank you. Any questions of the city manager? Thank you, Mr. Herron. I appreciate that. Okay, we do have the Historic Landmark Commission minutes from June 4, 2026. There's a motion to hold those over.
I'll move to hold over the minute.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And those minutes will be held over until the next meeting. Petitions of redress or grievance.
There are none.
Petitions of all other kind.
There are none.
Original propositions.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $628,290 with Reclaim Company LLC of Fairmont, West Virginia for abatement and demolition for the 14th Street Development Project to be charged to the West Virginia Economic Enhancement Grant. An ordinance of the Council of the City of Wheeling fixing the assessments for the cost of raising dilapidated structures on certain properties in the city in accordance with the applicable sections of the West Virginia Code and the codified ordinances of the City of Wheeling. An ordinance of the Council of the City of Wheeling authorizing the conveyance of certain real property located at 314 South York Street to the Ohio Valley ADC and further authorizing the city manager to execute and deliver such deeds and other documents to effectuate this conveyance. A resolution approving the city manager to authorize change order number 2 with Verdantis for flood-related wastewater treatment plant and roadway slip projects.
Move for adoption of the resolution.
Is there any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'd ask you to please record your vote.
Yes.
That resolution's approved.
And that concludes original propositions.
Thank you. That brings us down to those wishing to be heard. We do have a few folks signed up tonight. Again, please, the rules, 3 minutes. Give us your name and address, and let's have some decorum and respect our speakers, please. First, we have Polly Barks.